Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mendel Center Connections. I'm Mike Nadolski, Executive Director of the Mendel Center, and I'm happy to have with me today Mark Odland, who is the president of the South Haven Speaker Series. How you doing, Mark?
Great, Mike. It's good to be with you this morning.
Yeah, welcome. And I know we've been collaborating on a couple of things. We have an event coming up on Thursday, the pandemic economy and beyond. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I just wanted to give folks a chance to get to know you and the work that you're doing with the South Haven Speaker Series. So tell us a little bit about the South Haven Speaker Series, and then if you would share a little bit about your role and your personal passion, I guess, and how you got involved in all this.
Very good. The South Haven Speaker Series had its start one really cold, snowy winter day in 2014. It was a half a dozen of us that got together at a little venue called Julia's in downtown South Haven, up in their attic. They have a sort of a cute little meeting room where we all sort of huddled and had our cup of coffee and started talking about what are the things that South Haven could really benefit from. You know, we have a lot of good cultural things going on here, and we're a huge tourist community, but we have this year-round residency of people who have moved here, who've been highly successful, they've retired here, and they're constantly looking for something to do. And one of the things that we arrived on was developing a speaker series, and we all agreed this is the direction we wanted to go, but we decided to do this a little bit differently. And so we created this mission of the South Haven Speaker Series as one that is focused on issues, innovations, and ideas shaping or impacting our lives. In other words, it's the things that are happening today or might happen in the future that will have had or will have an impact on us. We're entirely content driven. So for the most part, we, in establishing what we're going to do for speakers, we start with content first, and we establish what are the critical issues, what are the things, the ideas, the innovations we're facing today. And then once we decide on that, we reach out and try to find the best possible speaker, the expertise that can speak to that. So content driven, and then the speaker with the best credentials that can come in and talk to us about it. And one of the interesting things about us is we charge $10 admission at the door. And you can't make it on $10 admission at the door, especially when you're offering a wine and cheese reception with that. And so we're very donor based. We have very generous donors who like to support what we're doing. And we have a very loyal following. We're not like the Mendel Center or the Economic Club of Southwest Michigan, where you'll pack the house with 2,000 or 3,000 people. We do well if we have 400 to 500 people in attendance. And so we're focused, and we really have a constituency that we try to support. And we've been at it 7 years. So we've had some nice success along the way.
Yeah, that's a nice run, 7 years. And I know you, I believe you started at the LMC campus in South Haven.
We did. Yeah, we actually started at the LMC campus. I'll never forget that first night. We brought in a speaker to speak on the Great Lakes Water Wars. He was an author of this book titled The Great Lakes Water Wars. And we were expecting maybe 50, 75 people. And before the night was over with, we had over 225 people in this meeting room that was really designed for about 75 to 100 people. And the staff at LMC at that time, they were as surprised as we were. And I'll never forget how they helped bring in chairs and rearrange the room, and people were standing in line trying to get in. But that was our first venture out. And Lake Michigan College was very good to us. The problem is we just simply outgrew it, and the fire marshal got a little edgy when we were pushing 250 to 300 people in that room. So we made a decision that we were going to relocate to the high school where they had capacity for up to close to 600. But I got to tell you, after we left LMC, we had more than one of our regular attendees tell us they really missed the closeness. That small room of all those people jammed in there created sort of an atmosphere of getting together of the community to get out for the evening and hear something really interesting. So, and the good news is right now, Jeremy is working on a plan to expand that room, and we hope someday to get back out there and start doing our programming at LMC in South Haven again.
Sounds good. Yeah, jamming together in a room right now doesn't sound very COVID appropriate, but I get the idea of wanting to have an intimate gathering, and it's just so much of it for us too at the Economic Club, at the Speaker Series. It's a social event for people too, and people do like to gather and mingle and have their conversations and also get to the heart of the matter with the speakers. Well, let's talk a little bit about Thursday night. I know, well, first of all, we partnered and with Dr. Fauci's deputy who came in, first deputy, I think, or
it was, yes.
Yeah.
That was in February, and just a little background on that. We had all of our programming lined up for 2020. 4 really, really good speakers ready to go. And our first program was going to be in April. And of course, April 2020 was right at the height of this pandemic. And, there were people running around saying it's going to be gone by Easter. Then there was a whole nother camp saying we're right at the beginning of this thing. So in effect, we canceled all of our programming for 2020, the South Haven Speaker Series. Hard decision. Because our board is really passionate about what we do. And I remember laboring over that. But in the end, we had to do what was right for our constituency, for our community. And we had to follow the orders that were coming down from the state and federal government at that time. So we canceled everything. At the end of the year, 2020, December coming into 2021, we met as a board and we all agreed we've just got to get back in the game, whether we do some virtual events or plan for something in 2021. Let's do something virtually. And we landed on this idea of approaching COVID-19 with a presentation titled The Virus and the Vaccine, the Untold Story. Because as you remember, if you think about December, January timeframe, there was just so much out there that we didn't understand still. And so we were fortunate through one of our board members who had a relationship through a relative with Dr. Anthony Fauci's chief deputy. This is the guy that was the scientist behind all the research. And lo and behold, an email and a call were made, and he reached out to us and said, "I'm coming, I'll do it." And we were very surprised by it, but he was so gracious with his time. And he did just an excellent presentation, follow on with 45 minutes of Q&A, answered all the tough questions. And there were a lot of questions that were asked. And in the end, we did a afternoon broadcast. Over 200 people over 300 signed up. We think that by the time you consider, the multitudes of people that were watching this on every sign up, we probably had 400 or 500 people watching it that afternoon. Then we rebroadcast it that night on YouTube TV or YouTube and had another 110. And so we're thinking probably we had 700, 800 people. That topic was so important, I think, to the people that follow your series and our series, that it drew a large audience. And even though I think people are tired of the pandemic and they're tired of talking about it, they're still very interested in information that will help them make the right decisions. So
yeah, it was very well presented, very well attended, and And we were happy to be a part of it and support it, and have our and reach out to our members and folks who are interested in great speakers in our area and great content.
You know, Mike, just a comment on that. The speaker series of South Haven, we didn't have the technological capacity to do a virtual event like that. And so I got on the phone and I'm reaching out to speaker series all over the country, and talking to the people, the operations people that run these things, especially those that are doing virtual events. And they all talked about the platform that they were using, and they talked about the cost of purchasing that platform, and what it took technologically to make it work. I think after a half a dozen calls, I called down to you and we struck up this conversation about, well, we've got the technology. You had the Zoom webinar technology, and we'll be happy to collaborate with you on this. But for your help with that, I don't think we would have been able to pull it off. And so we're very grateful for the help you were to us on that programming. Grace Kilmer did a great job, you know, running the controls for that thing, which permitted us to be a speaker series and not worry about that technological side of it. So it was a great collaboration.
Agreed. You know, we were able to pivot, and we enjoy live events, believe me, as much or more. It's just the energy of having everybody in the room. And one day we'll get back to that. But so we do have our final, the speaker series, our final one, and you guys are midpoint, I guess, coming into this. But it's a virtual presentation, The Pandemic Economy and Beyond. It's Thursday, April 22nd at 7 p.m. And we have Dr. Paul Isley coming, and two panelists, Rob Cleveland, President and CEO of Cornerstone Alliance, and Jim Hettinger, the President and CEO of his Urban Development Services, and also well respected in economic development circles in our region. And then Julie Cowie, who's going to be our MC. And can you just fill us in a little bit on what the discussion points are? I mean, I think the title pretty much grabs it, but and then also the background of Dr. Isley too.
Yeah, we as we were thinking through programming for 2021, you know, we did the pandemic, the virus and the vaccine, the untold story. We wanted to do something on what's going to happen after we defeat this virus. What's this going to look like from you know, a jobs perspective, from economic development, downtown districts, tourism. And so we settled on this idea of the pandemic economy and what to expect when we finally beat this thing to the ground and the virus is gone. And I'm still optimistic that's going to happen. And so Julie Cowie, who will be our moderator, is with Grand Valley State University. And we looked at a lot of different candidates to address this from all over the state of Michigan, from the University of Michigan to Michigan State. And then we settled on Dr. Paul Isley, who is an economist, dean of the school at Grand Valley, and very well known, very well respected. And he's going to provide, I think, what we would consider more of a high level 30,000 foot view, a macro view of what the economy is going to look like when the virus is gone. Then we decided, well, let's take this to the level of Main Street, Southwest Michigan. And that's where Rob Cleveland and Jim Hettinger come in, and they will offer their perspective of, all right, Dr. Isley, you've given us this vision of what you see. Now let's talk about what's going to happen in Berrien County, Van Buren County, Ottawa County, you know, South Haven, St. Joe, Benton Harbor, Niles, New Buffalo. What does the economy look like in those areas? And so we're glad that Julie is a member of our board, and she's brought a lot of energy and a lot of good ideas to us. And we asked her to serve as the moderator and the MC for this event. And we'll all have a chance to see her in action. And I think she'll do a very good job working with Dr. Isley and with Jim and with Rob Cleveland. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great event. And maybe the best news, since we're talking about economics, is it's free. It's a pay what you can model. So if you want to support the work of the speaker series, and this is a 50-50 partnership on this, and we're happy to be collaborating with you again. And we don't know what shape it'll take, but we know we're going to continue this collaboration and cross promotion and coordination, up and down the coast here of the Sunset Coast of Lake Michigan. Well, Mark, it's been great having you on. I look forward to our event on Thursday and collaborating in the future. And all the best to you and everybody out there. Hope you'll join us on Thursday, 7 o'clock. And you can go to the mendelcenter.com and click on upcoming performances and events and register. And again, there's no cost. So hopefully you'll join us, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Take care, Mark.
Thanks, Mike. Take care.